USFCougars.com here with number 4 ranked University of Sioux Falls football head coach Jed Stugart. His team's 9-0 after a pretty big win last weekend over Minnesota State at Blakesley Field. It was a 24-14 win. Jed, we'll talk about Upper Iowa, who comes into the Bob this weekend, but you guys had a fairly big win last week and a team that you had not beaten as a member of the NSIC. Talk about that win and the performance of your guys out there on Saturday.
Well, first of all, I mean, it's probably one of the bigger wins in our D2 era. Obviously, just the fact that from their program standpoint, the national power they've been, and just kind of the lead they've had on our conference for the last few years. So obviously another big signature win in the D2 era for us, and it's a team that we always looked at as a team that we've got to get to beat. You look at the type of kids they've recruited, the size they are, and so it's been a program that we've really kind of said, hey, to be the best, we got to get there, and they're one of those programs of a few in this league. And so to go up there and be able to get a win at their place, obviously is something that's kind of got off our back a little bit. It's a hurdle that we haven't been able to get over. And so just liked our week of preparation and how the guys kind of, their prep and how they just kind of even went through that game, just staying real composed and a lot of poise to fight their way out of a slower start, falling behind and coming back and eventually getting the win. So real proud of our program and just the overall day that we had and the week we had. So real proud of them.
Defensively, you guys really shined on Saturday. Held a high-scoring team well below their season average, some 20-some points below their average, and they got a late touchdown on you. But here's the deal with both defensively and then your offensive line shine. 346 yards rushing. I know we've talked about Trevor Westcott this week and this year, a captain. When you talk about him as a leader of that offensive line a little bit?
Been a 4-year starter for us. I mean, Trevor's a guy that is so highly intelligent. He's a great leader on the O-line as our center. Calls our O-line calls, gets them set up, and gives great input coming off the sideline of recognizing what's going on out there, which is a great asset to us, almost like a coach on the field. That's been a huge help. Every game he's seeing something that can help us, and so he kind of leads that charge a little bit when it comes to our run game. And it's a point of emphasis we've had all year, starting from spring ball, that we needed to run the ball better. And the other point of emphasis was our defense. Coming back and reloading a lot of spots that we needed to reload at, and it's probably the underlining story of this season is just how well our defense has done. And I think we see a lot of our offensive stats and where we're ranked in national statistics, and maybe our defense doesn't have those top 5 slots in some categories, but the reality is the scoring defense is what we focus on. This defense has put our team in a position every week where they're cutting teams' output point production in half. It's a goal of theirs to just get us in a position to win, and so and they adjust well. It's great coaching to get the adjustments made that need to happen, and the kids buy into that. And that's one thing our defense has done a great job of, is just playing great team defense and really getting because we're a very solid defense. I mean, there's no I'd say this: we're a completely consistent defense. It's one thing every week you kind of get the same out of them, and that's what good teams do, is they're very consistent.
Well, this defense has held an opponent to under 100 yards 5 times this year, 4 times in a row. They're second in total defense, second in scoring defense, and they're right there on rushing defense with all their numbers continuing to go down. So there's some nice stats, at least from a league perspective, that they've done. Let's jump into Upper Iowa real quick. They've got an explosive quarterback in Dimitri Morales, a decent running back, a really good talented kid in Derek Portis, and a pretty good receiver in Jalen Amos. Talk about the challenges ahead for this weekend.
Yeah, we're really careful. One thing we don't look at is records, because that doesn't always show what a team is. I mean, where they're at in the win-loss column doesn't reflect. And this is one of these teams. I mean, you look at week in and week out as we're preparing for them you see the things they're doing. Our team sees it. They're paying attention. We've had a good week of practice so far because they see the legitimacy of this team, that they can hurt you if you're not paying attention. You got a good rushing defense. They've done well in that regard, kind of where they're ranked in our conference. So they've had some success there. So I think they're a pretty balanced team that you got to pay attention to, and I think, and that's why we just don't pay attention to win-loss records. I mean, we've had good games in the past. They're coached well. And our guys know what's at stake here, and so they're going to be pretty focused this week, and I can tell that by the way they've practiced so far.
Thanks, Jed. Fans, this weekend Cougars play at noon here at Bob Young Field. Again, it's Upper Iowa at the University of Sioux Falls. Thanks, Jed.
Thanks, Dan.